Hello, writing students. For this lesson, we're going to be working on the story sequence chart. And this is a way to make an outline out of a story. Before, you've been doing a keyword outline where you take 3 words from each sentence and then you rewrite it from there. Well, this is a way that we're going to rewrite it by asking questions about the story. So these stories can be any length. They can be a short 1-paragraph story, or they can be even as long as a book. So you'll see here that we'll have 3 paragraphs. Each one of these represents a paragraph, and the first paragraph is going to be about the characters and setting. So you'll ask questions about the characters and the setting. Who are the characters? What are they like? What is their personality? What is their situation? What's happening? Okay, and then you're going to ask when and where the story is taking place. And you'll describe it in such a way that you'll create a mood and an image and just make the story come to life. Okay, and also the next paragraph will be the problem or conflict. And every story has a problem. If it didn't have a problem, then it would be boring and it would just go nowhere. So the questions that you ask are, what does the character want or need? Many times the problem comes out of a need or a want from the character. And from that, what do they think? What are they thinking about that need? What are they saying? How are they trying to fill that need? And then what do they do? Okay, and then the third paragraph is going to be the climax and resolution. So the climax is like the most exciting part of the story. It's what everything else has been leading up to. And then the questions are, how was this solved? And then the resolution, you'll say what the message or the lesson of the story was. Okay, for this lesson, we're going to be using a story called The Fox and the Grapes. So read along with me. A hungry fox saw some fine bunches of grapes hanging from a vine that were growing along a high trellis. He did his best to reach them by jumping as high as he could into the air, but it was all in vain, for they were just out of reach. So he gave up trying and walked away with an air of dignity and unconcern, remarking, "I thought those grapes were ripe, but I see now that they were quite sour." Okay, so now we're going to ask questions about that story. Okay, who's the character? The character in the story is the fox. Okay, and we're going to describe the fox. We're going to say what he's like. What did he look like? What was his character? And well, we know that he's hungry. The story says that he's hungry, and you can add some descriptive words like maybe he was a fluffy fox, perhaps he was thin. We kind of think that he's laid back because even though he tried, he gave up quite easily. And when he gave up and blamed it on the grapes, then we can see that maybe his character was quite proud. Okay, what was the situation? What was going on? Well, we could say that he was going for a walk. Maybe he was hungry because he had no breakfast. Okay, and the setting, when and where did this happen? We could say he was going for a walk on a path. Maybe the path was rocky. Maybe it was winding. And off in the distance he saw a house that had the trellis, which was a high trellis where the grapes were growing. Or you could possibly even say maybe it was a fence that had the trellis. Okay, and when did it happen? We could say it happened on a sunny spring morning. You can make up anything else. It might have been a different time of day or a different season. Okay, so now what is the problem? What problem did the fox have? What was his need or his want? Well, the problem was that he was hungry and that he couldn't reach the grapes because they were too high. So what did he think and say and do? Well, he thought about them being so high, and well, he tried to get them. He jumped very high, but it was all in vain. So what he thought was that he was just going to give up. So the resolution was, so how did he solve this problem? Well, he didn't get the grapes, so the problem wasn't solved in a positive way. It was solved by him just giving up and walking away. So, and what did he do? He trash-talked the grapes. He said, well, it was the grapes' fault. And the lesson could be that something like those who give up get no grapes. Okay, so that's what we'll be working on in this lesson.